that excellent effort in the Coventry Stakes, finishing fourth to Raja Singh. And who knows what might have happened had he not just veered across towards the stand side rail in the closing stages that day. Back on home soil, Jessica Harrington reported he came out of the race really well. They actually had to ride him out again a couple of days afterwards, she was saying. And bearing in mind the second favourite has only won a maiden, and a maiden over a mile at that, at Leopardstown. Brother Bear sets a very high standard here. 10-9 on. Kevin, we've just seen the Hot Pot beaten over in the July Cup at Newmarket with Caravaggio well stuffed. Would that sort of price tempt you out, Brother Bear?
I'm inclined to take him on, Gary. I'm inclined to take him on. Not bullishly now, but I just want to see him do it right today. And it'll be interesting to see how they ride him, because 2 starts in succession now. He's hung off to his left when he's hit the front, and obviously he got away with it the first day in the Marble Hill. Didn't get away with it in the Coventry last time. And you have to know as well that there's been the Coventry form has taken a couple of knocks there. Not bad knocks, but little knocks, and that just raises little doubts. So we know we always associate the Coventry with being top class form, but just got a couple of knocks. The winner's been beaten. I think that was the fourth has come out. The third, I think it was, has come out and be beaten as well. And I'm just at the price now. I'm just inclined to take him on. I'd love to see them riding just a little bit quieter and wait a little bit longer if they could at all, because just that edging to the left when he gets to the front is a concern. Theobald is a lovely horse. My first time seeing him today. Big, athletic colt, and he went and made a winning debut at Leopardstown, but you just worry about the trip. He won over a mile, and for me his last furlong was his best, and he's coming back near enough 2 furlongs a trip here, and that has to be a concern. He might well be good enough to overcome it, but it's definitely a concern. Not very surprised to see market support for Commander Grugio. He was 10-1 for a show yesterday. He's been backed all the way into 9-2. I really liked him when he won his maiden here, and everything went wrong last time. He got stuck behind one that was hanging, and the race, by the time he got into the open, the race was over, and he wasn't beaten up at all. I could see him leaving that form behind. Whether he'll be good enough to go and win this, we'll know in a few minutes, but I can see why he's been backed.
Yeah. Myself and Kevin both a little surprised to see Jim Bulger dropping Theobald back down in trip, but the punters are supporting him. Let's hear why the trainer has done it. He's with Kevin O'Ryan.
As Jim Bulger joins me now after giving Kevin Manning the leg up on Theobald. And Jim, I was very impressed with this horse first time out of Leopardstown.
Yeah, he was good at Leopardstown. What I had intended doing was running him here in a maiden, and the way it fell anyway at Leopardstown, I said I let him go on the mile, and then I thought that he still had enough pace for a race like this. So I just hope I'm doing the right thing.
Because there has to be a slight worry, doesn't it, dropping back to 6.5?
It's a concern, but we won't be worrying.
And the race at Leopardstown worked out really well.
It did, yes, yeah. A couple of winners came out of it, yeah. We know he's a good horse, but whether he's good enough now for 6.63 on top of the ground is another question.
Well, thanks for having a word. We wish you well.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Cheers.
Jim Bulger, he has the only unbeaten horse in the race. That's Theobald after that win at Leopardstown, and Theobald is currently well supported, the second favourite at 100-30, but Brother Bear remains favourite, 11-10 on now. Theobald 135-1, Commander Grigio 7-1, Actress, and Guess the Bill 16-1. Let's go back live to the track.
We're here in the parade ring ahead of the Anglesey Stakes, and first we're going to have a look at is Brother Bear from the Jessica Harrington stable. Just gone a shade of odds on now. He was very good here. Second time of asking when winning a listed race, the Marble Hill Stakes, on yielding to soft ground. And of course, he was an impressive winner in a race that's worked out well when winning in his first time of asking at Leopardstown. Hung left in the Coventry Stakes, wasn't beaten all that far, but nice and relaxed, taking everything in his stride. There he is, son of Kodiak, Brother Bear. We'll just get a quick word with trainer Jessica Harrington. And Jessie was just saying there, he looks fantastic and lovely and relaxed.
He seems to be very relaxed. It's a bit cooler than it was at Ascot. It was very, very hot the day he ran in Ascot. And, look, he's relaxed and just, he seems to be in great form, and hope that he runs a nice race.
He just drifted to his left that day in the Coventry, didn't he?
He did a little bit, yeah. And look, maybe he was just, meeting the sound of that stand, probably just made him drift into it, and I don't know, you wouldn't know what makes him drift, but he seemed to come back fine. He's been very straight in all his work ever since.
And of course he's drawn 5 here today, so right up against the rail, so he'll be easy to get onto the rail.
Yeah, he'll get up onto the rail, I suppose, jump out and go onto the rail.
And he's versatile regards ground. It was quick ground when he won on, and also yielding to soft when he won the Marble Hill here.
Yeah, so hopefully he doesn't mind what the ground is.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully we'll be having a word with you in the winners enclosure. Best of luck.
Thank you.
I don't see this.
Here we get a quick word with guest the Bills trainer Johnny Murta. Like the way this lad won at Navan.
Yeah, he's stepping up. It's a big step up from a maiden, but he had a little bit of a break after Navan, and this is a good race. So I'll be hoping he could be competitive in it, but he has to step forward quite a bit. He's done well physically, and we'll see where we are after today.
Yeah, good stuff. And he should no trouble handling the ground either.
No, he handled the ground well in Navan. I think it's pretty similar to Navan. And Pat says, he was a horse that felt a little bit weak, so I'm hoping he's after strengthening up over the last 6 weeks, and I'm looking forward to seeing him run today.
Yeah, and he had a good run first time out as well.
He did. He ran very well first time out, which I didn't think he would do. He surprised me that day. So he obviously got a bit of talent, and he's going to have to step forward quite a bit today, because it is a good race, but I want to see where he fits in. Is he a group horse, or is he just a nursery horse?
And what way is Pat going to ride him, Johnny?
I told him they just followed him up there today. It's a very good race. The favourite made the run in Ascot. He's a very tough horse, and I said just follow him up, and if you're there a furlong down, let's have it.
Good stuff, wish you.
Thank you.
Johnny Mert, hopeful then of a good run from Guest Bill. He is the complete outsider here at 16-1, but a nice prospect in his own right. Brother Bear, though, heading the market still at 10-9 on. Theobald at 100-30. Commander Grigio at 5-1. Actress was one we didn't get a chance to talk about. Kevin at 8-1. How do you see her faring? She was a touch disappointing, I thought, at Tipperary.
Yeah, she was beaten by Siriki, who'd been disappointing a couple of times, and she's been second to Alpha Centauri before that. She's probably at her level now. I think in the mix for a place will be a good result for them. I'm a little bit surprised the market is as dismissive as Guess the Bill. I thought he won quite well at Navan. The 6 furlongs should suit him. If you were to say one thing, he might prefer small ease in the ground, but he's won on good to firm at Navan. So I wouldn't like to rule him out now. If you gave me some betting to finish last, I don't think I'd be going for him.
Not going to be too much longer then. Guess the Bill just being brought forward. Pat Smullen already amongst the winners here today. Brother Bear and Theobald just still out the back. Brother Bear nice and relaxed in the preliminaries here.
Yeah, he's behaved himself well, and it'll just be interesting to see how he shapes today. Like Kevin was saying there, I'd imagine they'll probably look to get to the rail and stick to it, so going left isn't an issue. But as mentioned, in a perfect world now, I'd say they'd love something to give a lead. And look, maybe Kevin Manning will be very positive on Theobald, but I'd say in a perfect world they'd like to have a lead with Brother Bear for as long as they could. But he's clearly the one to beat, but he's got to go and improve, I think, to win this.
Des Cahill going to call them home for a stand in the Anglesey Stakes.
Set. And they're off. Theobald in the centre with Brother Bear towards the near side. Actress in the centre of the track, and they're being followed by Guess the Bill and Commander Grigio as they race now towards the end of the first furlong. And Theobald with on the near side Brother Bear, Actress on the far side. Commander Grigio is next, and Guess the Bill making the way on now towards the end of the first couple of furlongs. Brother Bear on the near side, Colm O'Donoghue with Theobald. Alongside Kevin Manning on the far side is Actress Shamie Heffernan. Commander Grigio and Chris Hayes with Guess the Bill, and Pat Smullen making the way now to the halfway point, and little to choose between Brother Bear. Theobald on the far side with Actress, and Commander Grigio is next. They're followed by Guess the Bill. On the near side it's Brother Bear. In the centre is Theobald. Over on the far side is Actress. Commander Grigio is making ground now towards the stand side, racing down now towards the final furlong, and Brother Bear on the stand side leading Commander Grigio. Over on the far side is Actress. They're racing inside the final 150 yards. Actress over on the far side. The stand side is Brother Bear. Theobald in between them, but up towards the finish it's Actress. There's going to be another one for Aidan O'Brien and Shamie Heffernan. Theobald second. Brother Bear is third, clear of Commander Grigio and Guess the Bill.
Yes, it's Actress who wins it for Shamie Heffernan and Aidan O'Brien. Another boost for the form of the Albany Stakes at Royal Ascot, which really does look to have been a hot race this year, albeit she was a beaten favourite in the interim at Tipperary behind Sarici, but absolutely no fluke about this. She's power clear down the centre. Kevin, Brother Bear went to his left again towards the rail, but ultimately well beaten today.
Yeah, funny type of race, Gary, you'd have to say. Brother Bear, look, that's 3 times in a row he's done that. There's clearly a little bit of a kink in him in that regard. I feel really sorry for Commander Grugio because he's got absolutely taken out by Brother Bear. Second start in a row now that everything's gone wrong for him. He's better than the form today. But Actress, straight as a gun barrel, plenty of experience in the book. You know, looked a bit exposed coming here, you'd have to say. Being beaten by Alpha Centauri twice, beaten in the Albany, but has ultimately gotten done the job very well today. Theobald remains a really nice prospect. He just wants a bit further. He probably wants to go back to a mile, and I'm sure Jim will have races in mind for him over those distances. Brother Bear, the disappointment. It was a funny run from him because he was a bit free early on. He got no cover. He started to edge left. He looked in big trouble, and he seems to be going. Maybe it's an optical illusion, but he seemed to be going on again at the line. So it's a bit of a strange sort of a run from him. Maybe he wants 7 now, but yeah, a race now that poses plenty of questions, I think.
Actress it is who's come out on top. Shamie Heffernan, who's got Rain Goddess to look forward to in the big race later on. Of course, landed the Dubai Duty Free Irish Derby here a couple of weeks ago on board Capri. And Actress right out in the centre of the track, ploughing a lone furrow, and a successful one, wins at 7-1, Robert.
Yeah, down the centre of a track, and Actress had some pretty decent form. Run that giant filly of Jessica Harrington's Alpha Centauri to 5 lengths, was second behind her at Naas. And there are the ladies walking the course for the big race. That's for Ladies Derby at 6:30, the Boodles Ladies Derby. But Actress has won at 7-1. Theobald second, 100-30, and the favourite, shock horror, Brother Bear, not in the first 2. Back after the break.
Thanks, Robert. We certainly do. It's the Friastown Stud Sapphire Stakes, and Marcia looking to gain compensation for that defeat in the Kingstand Stakes at Royal Ascot last time. There's certainly no disgrace in that effort, Kevin, behind a really unsung Lady Aurelia that day. Much smaller field here on this occasion, obviously, for Marcia to deal with. She's actually no stranger to these shores. She ran here as a 2-year-old all the way back when.
Yeah, look, she's been a fantastic sprinting filly. You know, winning the Prix de l'Abbé, winning the Palace House under a penalty was an especially good performance. And look, there was nothing wrong with her running the King's Stand at all. Lady Aurelia is an absolute freak of a filly, and she was in top form in the day. And she's got to carry a Group 1 penalty here, £5, but she earned it. And she might, I'm surprised she's quite this short now. She's two's on.
They're getting stuck in, aren't they?
I'm surprised she's that short. You know, I would make, this is her winning the Prix de l'Abbé, and you know she's been better than ever this season. But you know, if you use a line through Washington DC, you know, she doesn't have a huge amount in hand of Ardhumi at these weights, and she does have a bit in hand, but it's not a huge amount, not nearly enough to justify this difference in price. And of course, Ardhumi was well down the field at Ascot. I fancied him that day, and it was just all too fast for him, really. And coming back to 5 furlongs here in a smaller field, they won't be going quite as quick. It'll give him a chance to find his feet early on. He'll relish the fast ground. You know, and he's one that's really progressed since the tongue tie went on, and he's a proper sprinter now. And this was a good performance from him. This is him finishing second to Acapulco, I think it was. And you'll see here, Colin Keane just met with a bit of traffic at a vital time, and I thought myself on another day he would have gone and beaten Acapulco, and he was giving her £10 this day. So I thought this was a great performance. If he could repeat this, I think he'd really make Marcia work hard.
Ardhumi then, with Colin Keane on board, perhaps the main threat to Marcia. The betting certainly reads it that way. There's not a huge amount between Ardhumi and Hit the Bid, who's coming into this on the back of a fine effort in the Rockingham last time. We've just seen the winner of that race certainly upholding the form earlier on, Kevin. Hit the Bid grounds for saying he was a little bit unlucky that day, maybe as well, some felt.
Yeah, he was down the near side, whereas the main action was in the middle. A little bit unlucky in the day, you could definitely make that case. And look, for a 3-year-old sprinter, he's making pretty giant strides, to be fair to him. He won a 5 furlong listed race at Cork on quick ground, and he backed up that effort last time. And he's clearly on the up still. Haven't seen the very best of him. These conditions should be just right for him. And yeah, another forward effort can be expected.
Darren Bunyan, his trainer, looking forward to stepping him up in grade today. We can once again rejoin Kevin O'Ryan, who's with the favourites big race jockey.
Yeah, we get a quick word with Marsha's jockey Luke Morris. And look, I was just watching her coming into the parade ring. She looks $1 million.
Yeah, she seems in great shape. You know, Smart reports she's in good form at home. So, say if she can bring a form of a Newmarket run or even a Royal Ascot run, she's certainly the one to beat.
And of course, thankfully for you, there's no Lady Aurelia in the race today.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like say, she was awesome at Ascot, but hopefully with Caspian Prince in there, it'll just give us a bit of pace in there to aim at as well.
Is that what the plan is, to get a lead off Caspian Prince?
Yeah, like say, not necessarily off him, but you know, it is Philly's best when she's got a target and strong pace to aim at, which you know, hopefully it'd be a decent pace to aim at with Caspian.
And of course, she was very good in the Abbey last season as well.
Yeah, she's very good, and they win a proper gallop that day. And say if she brings her A game to the table, she's the one to beat.
And she seems to be a little bit versatile regards trip as well.
Ground-wise, she wants either good ground or a bit quicker, and say I've had a walk of the track, and ground looks ideal to me.
Yeah, good stuff. The bell is gone. Wish you best.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, Luke.
Morris in the very enviable position of riding the hot favourite Marsha, who's now 15-8 on. Was at one stage 2-1 on, just easing a fraction. 6-1 Ard Humi. Hit the bid 7-1, 9-1 Caspian Prince. Alphabet 16-1. And Spirit Courts is the outsider of the 6 at 25-1. So Marsha still was going to go off very, very short, and she's now 15-8. Get on, Gary.
Indeed, is the way to my money on her back, Robert. That would at least add a stone to her, I think. She's obviously the one they have to beat. Caspian Prince, another horse we know well here in Ireland, represents Tony Coyle here. I could see him making a bold bid from the front. Fair enough, on unknown form, he shouldn't be good enough to beat Marsha. He's only rated 6 pounds inferior though, and as I say, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he ended up getting closest. He's the mountaineer of Declan McDonough. He's had a good season, obviously the highlight winning that dash at Epsom on Derby Day. And Alphabet representing the Ballydoyle team, and this is not exactly a forlorn hope either, though she will have to improve a little bit on that latest effort at Cork when she was behind. Hit the bid. Tuzan Marsha, the 15-8 on, didn't last too long, Kevin, so plenty of punters obviously feel that this is a bit of a point and shoot job. Ard Humi at 6 hit the bid at 7-1. Caspian Prince, grand old horse, isn't he? Obviously we're more used to seeing him in handicaps. You can fully understand connections rolling the dice with him here with the race cutting up a bit.
Absolutely. Look, he's rated 110. He's shown himself to be as good as ever really last time. You know, he's won a handicap off 107 and ran very well off 111. You know, that's not easily done, and he'll almost certainly make the running, and he'll be hard passed now. He'll set a good target for him, but he'll be hard passed as well.
Hit the bid just going in there under Lee Roach, and next second, as I say, to Tithonus last time out. Let's once again get back to Kevin O'Ryan.
I get a word of Darren Bunyan. He's just had to give Lee Roach the leg up and hit the bid, and you were another stride. You were up to win a Rockingham a couple of weeks ago, and the farm got a good boost at Tiantas winning the Scurries today.
It was delighted for Dennis with his horse winning again there today for him. It was a hell of a run, Rockingham for our lad, for a 3-year-old. You know, he had 2 behind him, a furlong and a half out, and he's only beaten a neck on the line.
He near enough top weight as well, did he?
He actually carried top weight in the day because they claimed off what was the top weight. But I don't think a 3-year-old's ever done that before, to tell you the truth. But we know we have a very good horse in our hands, so we weren't worried about supplementing him in here today.
Obviously, he's won a stakes race already this season down in Cork.
Hey, Cork, he had a lovely run in France as well, like, and before that came back very well and freshened himself out of that. Beat a nice horse of Patrick's in Cork, very decent, consistent horse, and the Rockingham. Things are starting to come together for him. These sprinters take a little bit of time to learn. They spend their 3-year-old days learning how to sprint, and this lad's each run he's an improvement. He's learning day by day. And
he does need to improve. Do you think he is improving?
Definitely, no doubt he is. Every week goes by there, he's a different horse. Even in his races there, he's taking things even better before, and he's just doing everything right. Like, we're not going to run him too often this year, like, because it's often a mistake to make with a good 3-year-old sprinter, like, because it's a tough year on them. So we'll be minding him, but he could be anything next year, in my opinion.
And obviously you've Marsh, Caspian Prince, Ardhumi to take on. Before we speak about Aidan's horse down at the bottom, Alphabet as well. But are you confident of a big run here today?
I would be. I'd be very confident of a very big run now of him. It's a Group 2. They're all good horses. There's no outsider in the 6-runner Group 2. Like, but Marcia, obviously, as I read this morning there about her, she's the second top sprinter, 5-furlong filly that there is. But if we can give her a run for her money, we'd be happy now.
Good stuff. We'll let you go and watch it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Gary and Kevin have obviously been clubbing together because Marsha is shortened now. She's 9-4 on, having at one stage been 15-8 on, but 9-4 on now. Marsha. Ardhumi on 6-1. 8-1 Hit the Bid, Caspian Prince 10-1, 16-1 Alphabet, and Spirit Courts is 25-1.
Robert, yes, this the Friastown stud Sapphire Stakes. Khalid Rahim of Friastown lending his support to this Group 2 contest, and
very nearly set for the Group 2 Sapphire Stakes. Let's get across to commentary to Descal.
Set. And they're off. Caspian Prince bounced away smartly in front of Marcia, Spirit Quartz and Alphabet, and Hit the Bid, tracked by Ardhumi. As they settle down, race the end of the first furlong, and Caspian Prince goes along in front of Marcia. Alphabet is next. Hit the Bid the near side. Centre of the track, Spirit Quartz, and they're tracked by Ardhumi. As Caspian Prince continues to lead a couple of lengths to Alphabet, Marcia. Hit the Bid, Spirit Quartz. They're being followed by Ardhumi. Running on past the halfway stage, and Caspian Prince and Declan McDonough lead Marcia, the odds-on favourite, and Luke Morris, followed by Alphabet, Shamie Heffernan, and then comes Ardhumi in the middle of the track. Hit the Bid and Spirit Quartz, and Marcia comes to join Caspian Prince. They're being followed by Ardhumi and Hit the Bid on the near side. Marcia now on the far side of Caspian Prince, who's trying to battle back. Running up towards the finish, Marcia and Caspian Prince head to head. Marcia and Caspian Prince desperately close between them. Ardhumi, Hit the Bid, Spirit Quartz and Alphabet.
what a thriller. It's gone for export, but has it gone to Marcia or Caspian Prince, who battled back so strongly when he was pressed by the favourite? Two jockeys were having a word just going past us here, 100 yards or so after the line. Not sure either of them are sure. He might just favour Caspian Prince looking at that. I think he certainly dipped his head at the right time to give himself the best possible chance, Kevin. But it is very tight.
I think he's given himself a great chance, Caspian Prince. And what a game effort. Neither of these deserve to lose. I think Marcia just didn't help herself here.
Caspian Prince.
Watch how gamely this horse has battled back, to be fair to him. 8 years of age. He's looked as good as ever lately, but he's a little bit defined with Marcia. Oh God, he's battled back like an absolute tiger here, Gary. Marcia, she just didn't help herself early on. She didn't get much cover, and she was just a little bit free. And maybe that's what's cost her late on. Maybe that's why she hasn't gone on as it seemed she would with a furlong to race. But Caspian Prince has battled on like an absolute tiger here. This is some performance.
It was the very last stride, I think, that he put his head back in front. The 10-1 winner, Caspian Prince. What an unbelievable horse he's been down the years. That's his 17th win. He's had a few different trainers along the way. Tony Coyle has him now, and after his near miss in the scurry earlier on, I'm sure that will be a particularly sweet one for the trainer, and for jockey Declan McDonough, who is now with Kevin O'Ryan.
Get a quick word of Declan McDonough, third Group 2 of the season, all here at the Curragh. Well done.
All due to the age, and thanks, Kev. No, look, he's a battler, he's tough, he goes a real good one, and he keeps finding plenty. The mare came to me easy and he battled, he didn't want to be denied. Once I got into me left, gave him a couple of cracks, he was game and genuine.
I thought she was going to go on and win a race, but you've fought back well.
She just stalled when she got alongside me, and he got a bit of heart from that. And to be fair, he stuck his head out and he helped me, you know.
Second time you won him around Dundalk. I think you broke the track record last year, did you?
He did, and then it was broken then subsequently, but he, for an old horse, he's got a great bit of heart anyway.
Yeah, Bengali in the hopes.
Hopefully she'll run well. The ground is a bit dry for her, but hopefully she'll run a good race.
Lad in the last had a big chance.
Yeah, good chance, yeah.
Well done.
Thanks, Kevin.
Well done, lads.
What a horse he is. He's won nearly £600,000, probably over £600,000 in prize money. Declan McDonough has won on him before. He's 2 from 2 on him. In fact, he won a listed race at Dundalk last October. And the trainers he's been with now, with Tony Coyle, of course, but Roger Fell had him for a while. David Loughnane had him for a while. Dean Ivory as well. Tony Carroll did very well with him indeed. And before that, Owen O'Neill trained him. So, I mean, he was raced in France, started his career in France. A fantastic old sprinter, and he's got up on the line to beat the 2-to-1 on favourite. Caspian Prince at 10-1 has won the Group 2 Sapphire Stakes, 10-1, beating Marsha, the 2-to-1 on favourite. Fantastic performance by an 8-year-old sprinter. And scenes of jubilation. Well, it was it has been a brilliant day for Tony Coyle, because in the Scurry Cup he had Snapshots, who finished a very good second. Declan McDonough also was on board him as well. The agent who's booking Declan for these rides deserves a big pat on the back, doesn't he? But terrific. That could be, I think that could be his best moment so far, really. He's won some fantastic races, but winning a Group 2, a brilliant performance by good old Caspian Prince.
Springing a bit of a surprise, and that's the prize going to the winning owner. That is Caspian Prince's owner there, taking that prize home. Looks rather unique piece of memorabilia. Big race still to come though is the Darley Irish Oaks. That's due off at 5:55, the Group 1 race. Let's go back to Gary at the track.
Enzo, thanks very much. Welcome aboard, and welcome everyone back to the Curragh. As you say, we're building up to the big race of the day, and John Gosden and Frankie Dettori teaming up with the Naval are hot favourite for the big race. Just saw the presentation taking place for our last race there. What a legendary horse Kevin Caspian Prince is. We referred to it there afterwards, but to do what he's done and keep doing what he's doing at the age he is just a credit to the horse, isn't it?
And just to be trying as hard as he is at this age, you know, you'd forgive any horse for losing some bit of enthusiasm when they've had the rattling that he's had, you know, over his life, just having so many starts and everything else, in training for so long. But he clearly retains all his enthusiasm, retains all his ability, even more importantly. You know, to go close in a handicap of 111 last time is one thing, but to come here and win a Group 2 is a step up again. You know, he's a credit to his connections. Now, wouldn't you love to be involved with a horse like him that could give you so much enjoyment for so many years?
And I'm sure maybe a little bit of confidence growing amongst the layers now as far as taking on Enable is concerned. They've got a couple of odds-on shots beaten in the last 2 races. Brother Bear was disappointing in the Anglesey Stakes around about an hour ago. Before Marsha was just done on the line there so cruelly by Caspian Prince. Can you see Enable maybe drifting out, touching 2s on perhaps?
Oh, I can't see it myself, you know. I could see kinks in the other 2, but I'm just struggling to see it here. Unless something goes badly wrong, that she underperforms badly for some reason, I find it hard to see the kink. To be honest, after watching the Oaks and watching it back again and analysing it, I think she'd be well able to compete with the best colts around. You know, I was really deeply impressed with her that day, and she showed herself to be bomb-proof in more than one way, because like you mentioned earlier, the race was run in a horrific lightning storm, and there was just all sorts of things that you'd excuse any filly for getting worked up before that particular Oaks, and she held her composure and produced a really tip-top effort. And on the clock, it ticked every box, and if she can do that again here, she'll bolt up, unless something absolutely jumps out of the ground in terms of improvement against her here. She's that far in front of them.
Well, her preparation has reportedly gone well. We can hear more on that now. Matt Chapman earlier this week spoke to trainer John Gosden at Newmarket.
She's in great form. She's worked nicely at the end of last week, and cantering here this morning, we're happy with her.
When you reflect on the Epsom win, are you still slightly surprised just how well she did it?
Well, it was an extraordinary race because there was a bolt of lightning that crashed down when they were in the stalls. And they set off in a grey but no rain, and then they got halfway up the hill at Epsom and they were into this massive thundercloud. So it was run under pretty weird conditions, I'm not saying she handled it and the seconds didn't handle it, but maybe some of the others didn't. But look, she won her Cheshire Oaks in great style from alluringly, and I remember Frankie and Ryan saying, they quickened and they quickened again. So I think we were hoping for a huge run in the Oaks, and we got one.
And do you feel she's progressed again since Epsom?
Yeah, look, she's by Nathaniel. He got better with age, and she's a scopy, rangy filly, and she's learning all the time. That was, she's not had a lot of racing. One race as a 2-year-old at Newcastle, and obviously she ran in the mile and a quarter at Newbury, Cheshire Oaks, and Epsom.
And here is the man himself, John Gosden, arriving a few moments ago. And, of course, Coronet, his other runner in the race, the Royal Ascot winning filly, lines up for Olivier Pellier. Frankie Dettori riding Enable, though the Oaks champion from Epsom. She was brilliant that day. And we can now hear from Frankie Dettori with Kevin O'Ryan ahead of the big race.
Yeah, we just walk out to the parade ring with Enable's jockey Frankie Dettori. Frankie, you've won the Oaks, the Irish Oaks, 3 times. Blue Bunting being the most recent.
Yeah, and for Paddy Mullins, a long time
Vintage
ago.
Tipple.
Yes.
Never been a reception like it since in the Curragh.
It was amazing, yeah.
And Frankie Enable looks like she's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, I hope she travelled well. You'll see what she's done at Epsom and Chester. Yeah, but with those you never know, but she seems well. She doesn't overdo it at home, so you can never tell 100%, but we'll give it a go.
Would you be slightly worried about the ground? It's quite quick out there?
Look, I walked the track. Obviously, it's quite quick in the back and on top of the hill. In the straight, it's generally good to firm, but most of the horses should accept it.
She was very, very good at Epsom.
Yeah, well, today's a new day.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Seems very relaxed, doesn't he, Frankie Dettori, ahead of his return to the fray here on board Enable. Leaving Kevin with a smile there. And the jockeys taking part in this year's race just having a photograph taken on the presentation podium. Frankie there, second left alongside Wayne Lorden, and on the other side Billy Lee, who's having such a fine season. He rides Aurora Butterfly for William McCreary. And we return to the horses, and we're having a look at Coronet, who's a very, very good second string to John Gosden's bow here, Kevin, the winner of the Ribblesdale Stakes at Royal Ascot after failing to do herself justice in the Oaks itself, and now renewing rivalry with her stable companion, probably pushing things a little bit though to see her overturning turning the tables, if you like, from Epsom, isn't it?
Well, look, for me, she just didn't run her race there. She was beaten 16 lengths. It may well have been the track that did it, but something did it. That wasn't her. She showed more her true colours at Royal Ascot. She produced what I thought was a super effort to win the Ribblesdale. Things didn't go right. She didn't have the clearest of runs, but she got herself out of trouble and picked up really well to go and get the job done. So, this track should suit her really well. Course on distance should suit her very well. And, she'd be very much the rightful second favourite for me.
There is Pat Smullen in the Aga Khan colours, just talking to Dermot Weldon. Pat Downs, the Aga Khan stud manager here in Ireland. They team up with Azira, who's a big price here. But we return to the favourite Enable, who actually, just in appearance, quite a resemblance to her sire Nathaniel. He was such a tip-top performer himself, really starting to make his mark now, Kevin, isn't he? Not just with this filly, but a lot of his progeny. John Gosden alluded to it there, speaking to Matt earlier on this week, that they get better and better with age.
Well, that's it. There was very big expectations for Nathaniel last year with his first 2-year-olds. They did really well at the sales. He was very well supported from the outset, but he had a very, very slow start. He did not have a good season with his 2-year-olds. He was under pressure coming into this season, but by God, there's been some transformation in him now. Whether it's time, whether it's distance, I'm not quite sure, but they seem to enjoy both. And this filly's led the way for him, but it's not just a one-horse show for him either. He's done very well this season.
One man who's had great success in this race down the years is Johnny Murta. He doesn't have a runner in this year's renewal as a trainer, but earlier this week I caught up with him at Leopardstown just to have a chat about the picture and maybe take a little trip down memory lane.
Race me, you know, I won it 5 times, but I rode some great horses in it, you know, and it's a great weekend, you know. There's only 10 runners again, but I think the favourite is a very, very good filly, and she's one, I think she'll win easy the weekend, and she's one to follow right through the year.
Do you ever get out of the old videos and have a look back at some of those races, Ebadila and Winona, of course, for John Ox as well?
Sure, listen, when you were riding, if you had a bad run when you were riding, you used to pull them out and give you a bit of a confidence booster, but no, not now. Yeah, but you would be walking around the house and you might see a trophy there that you won, and it would bring you straight back to the day you rode it. And you know, but I said it was a lucky race for me. It was up the road, and great weekend.
Yeah, and some serious name. Petrushka, I know, was a real favourite of yours. She was brilliant there, wasn't she? And Peeping Fawn as well. We're seeing her daughter September now pulling up plenty of tricks.
Yeah, listen, Peeping Fawn, like, she won easy. She won on the bridle. I remember turning in and just pulled her out from behind him. She just, you know, absolutely cantered in. And I suppose the one that gave me most satisfaction was Chiquita. You know, I remember
She had her quirks, didn't she?
I remember looking at her, and Eddie Lynham says to me, "Are you sure you want to ride that one?" She ran through the fence in St. Cloud a couple of weeks ago. But no, very talented, you know, really good filly, and that's what it takes to win the Irish Oaks. It's a high-class race.
Yeah, happy days. As you say, it looks pretty straightforward for Enable if she runs the Epsom form, doesn't it?
I think it does, yeah. You know, she looks like she's very good, and the Tory's back, so he better win.
Well, he should win, according to the market anyway, Enable, thanks to Johnny Murta speaking there to Gary. This is intricately, we're looking at one of the big outsiders. Donica O'Brien riding in the red and yellow colours. Enable is 5-2 on currently, although shorter on the exchange market, so you'd imagine that's going to go 4-11. If it's going to go one way, it will go that way. Curragh 6-1, Rain Goddess 7-1, and it's big prices about the rest. Even the each way market pretty static, as most people expect that Curragh and Rain Goddess will fill the minor places behind Enable. But of course, in this race last year, we did see Seventh Heaven cause a bit of an upset by winning and upstaging her better fancied stablemate, the horse who won the Ribblesdale. Can Coronet overturn her stable companion Enable? Let's in the meantime go to Kevin, who's got John Ox with him now.
Yes, we get a quick word with trainer John Ox ahead of the Darley Irish Oaks, and John W represented in the race, Naughty or Nice of Bengala.
Well, 2 outsiders obviously, but you know, they've done quite well for us already. We hope there's a little bit more in the tank with them, you know, that they might be a bit better than the bare form, but who knows. This is a good race to find out where you're going for the rest of the year. But yeah, Naughty and Nice had the disaster at Ascot, so we found out nothing there, which was a shame. So we have to find out here instead. Bengala might just like softer ground. A bit worried that it's dried out a bit from this morning, but maybe not. It's she's a pivotal. Maybe she'd like a cut on the ground. She's hasn't been that lucky in her races to date. I think there's a bit more to come, but you know, she's a lot to find on the ratings. But they're both in good shape, and hopefully they'll run well.
Naughty or Nice, she was good. She was 2 from 2 before obviously what happened in the Ribblesdale, but I liked her performance today in the listed race in Navan.
Yes, she did well there to win, you know, when she was quite green, to win under the difficult circumstances. So and the form has worked out quite well. But still, you can't give her a particularly high rating for it. So we have to find out today what she's made of.
Yeah, well, John, you've won the race twice in the past, Ebadia and Winona most recently. We wish you well here with these two.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, we get a word with Joseph O'Brien. And Joseph, I thought intricately had a massive chance running a big race here.
Yeah, hopefully, Kevin. She's running well in some very competitive races this year. She's not too far behind Roly Poly, and ran well in the Pretty Polly, and we're not sure about the trip, but we think she'll get the trip. But obviously we'll find out today, and hopefully she can run a good race.
And of course, a Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old, and she won the My Glare here.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'd be great if she get placed. And yeah, we're looking forward to the race.
And looking at the way she ran and finished the race in the Pretty Polly over 1.25 miles, it looked like that she'd have no trouble stepping up to 1.5 miles.
Yeah, you'd have to say that. She hit a little flat spot off of the hill and went to the line nice and strong, which was a good sign. And I suppose that was kind of the reason why we came here rather than going back in trip. So we'll find out today.
Good stuff. We wish you well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Best of luck, John. Let's just get a quick word with trainer John Gosden. Supplies the top 2 in the betting, and John obviously enables so impressive in the Epsom Oaks.
Yeah, she did it very well. She's a lovely filly, and obviously, you know, it was a logical place to come. We always intended coming here. It could be a different race because Epsom had a strong pace, and for Coronet, the Ribblesdale had a strong pace. There was no obvious pace in this race, so it could be a very different game altogether.
And are you averse to sitting handy if there's no pace going on?
Yeah, I think, you know, you've got to leave that to the jockeys. They've got to read the race the way it comes up, and Mr. Tottori and Mr. Pellier have a certain amount of experience between them.
And of course, Coronet, was it that she mightn't have just been suited by the undulations of Epsom?
She didn't come down the hill, but she did it well in the Ribblesdale. They've never worked together, but they're two very nice fillies, but obviously Enable has the form lines, but I'm quite clear in my mind if it's falsely run, you sometimes get strange results.
Well, we wish you well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Best of luck.
Yes, anxious moments for John Gosden as he sends his top-class middle-distance filly into the fray once again. And runners just gathered down at the 1.5 mile starting point. Bengala just going through the shot there. And there is Rain Goddess, who looked on great terms with herself in the parade, and she was really strutting about in the preliminaries for a filly who's had a busy enough time of things. Every time she stepped up in trip, she's really improved. I personally think she might be the one to give Enable most to do. Naughty or Nice just going through the shot there as well. Under Colin Keane. And there we return to the favourite Enable, who hasn't really budged from the 5-2 on price here on track. Final thoughts, Kevin. We're just ticking down the seconds to post time. I think we're both agreed this favourite's going to be nigh on impossible to beat, notwithstanding those concerns, maybe a better lack of pace.
Yeah, look, funny things can happen in this game now, but on all known evidence it'll be a major shock if she's beaten. The one I liked against her was Naughty or Nice. Each way, if you like, place only would probably be preferable now. If that price is right on the exchange, she's after drifting wildly in recent minutes. She was as big as 33s and 50s there in the last 24 hours. She's been well backed into 16-1, but it's a huge price in the exchanges there in the win market. But it'll be a very different show in the more traditional each way markets. But I can see her running very well. Look, as John Ox himself said last time, was an absolute disaster. You can completely forget about that. She'll stay this trip very well. And I'd imagine there'll be no pressure on today. Colin Keane will probably be told to drop in and look to pick his way home late and hopefully run into the frame.
Nearly said then. Rain Goddess goes forward. Enable, the favourite, will be one of the last, and I think it could be Banfasa and Azira to complete the lineup for the 2017 Darley Irish Oaks, to be described by Desca.
Banfasa and Azira. The last two as the white flag is raised now for the Darley Irish Oaks. The 10 runners locked away, looked set. They're off in the Darley Irish Oaks to a very level break in the centre. Bengala has moved up to dispute the lead and take over from on the outside alluringly. Enable is just in behind them, and they're being followed in the early stages towards the inside by Rain Goddess. And Intricately is racing in mid-division. As they settle down now, it's Bengala and Declan McDonough showing a couple of lengths in front of Enable, and Frankie Dettori in second. They're being followed by Rain Goddess on the inside of Banfasa. Then comes Intricately and Alluring with the Zira. Naughty or Nice is next, and they're being followed by Aurora Butterfly and Coronet. So they're racing on now to take them just up towards the mile mark, and going along 3 lengths in front. Bengala to Enable in second, Banfasa and Rain Goddess a further 2.5 to Intricately, and they're followed by Alluring, and then comes Azira. Naughty or Nice is next. And these are followed towards the back of the field by Aurora Butterfly, and Coronet is just the back marker. But there's little change as they begin to climb up now towards the 6 furlong mark, the top of the track, as Bengala blazes the trail for Declan McDonough. The odds-on favourite Enable, the Epsom Heroine in second, and third is Banfassa, followed by Rain Goddess. Intricately alluring Azira, Naughty or Nice, Aurora Butterfly and Coronet. Just about to make the descent to take them down towards the approach to the straight, and the Darley Irish Oaks, and it's still Bengala, a 2-length leader to Enable, Banfassa, Rain Goddess. Intricately is next with Alluring, followed by Azira. Naughty or Nice is after them with Aurora Butterfly and Coronet, the final pair. About to make the approach now for the turn into the straight. Bengala from Enable, Banfassa, Rain Goddess, then comes Intricately. Alluring is next towards the outside of Azira as they straighten up for home now with a little over 2 to go. And in the lead is Bengala, now taken on and headed by Enable, who kicks for home under Frankie Dettori. Rain Goddess trying to go after him. Azira stays on in the centre with on the outside Alluring. Aurora Butterfly from the back, but it's Enable, the long odds on favourite, out in front of Rain Goddess. Azira stays on, and then comes Aurora Butterfly, but up towards the finish. Enable is going to win the Double Oaks, wins in great style, completes the Oaks double for Frankie Dettori and John Gosden in the Juddmonte colours. Rain Goddess is second, Azira, Coronet from the back, and then came Aurora Butterfly and Alluring.
Well, she was mighty impressive at Epsom, and if anything, she's won even easier today. Kevin O'Ryan about to offer his congratulations to trainer John Gosden. Enable, Kevin, absolutely hacking up there. Frankie Dettori able to ease her down close home and thoroughly enjoy his return to the winners' enclosure in this Group 1.
She's a proper filly, Gary. She's an absolute star, and I really think she'll go well in the Arc. You know, she'll be well able to take on the boys, I think. You know, this wasn't a vintage Irish Oaks in terms of the opposition she faced, but again, she ticked every box in terms of style. She could have done it with more pace in front of her. She could have probably done it with a lead for longer, but she does stay very well. And once she got to the front, she powered away. And look, I've very little doubt that she can deal with the colts, certainly the 3-year-old colts and the older ones. I think she's very, very good.
Absolute cakewalk, that final furlong for Frankie Dettori there. Rain Goddess has run another smashing race. What a good filly she is in her own right. Obviously not in the same league as the winner, but she's beaten the rest of them handsomely enough, and I'm sure Dermot Weld will be very pleased with that run from Azira, who was sent off at a big price. A little bit of cheer for the Weld yard with that big handicap victory for Tandem at Leopardstown on Thursday night, and Azira carrying on that thread there. Coronet out the back of the field, Kevin, ran on when it was all too late. Possibly had a bit on her plate from there, the way the race was run.
Yeah, a shade disappointing, you'd have to say. I don't know how quick they went. You know, Bengala was a clear leader early on, but there was quite a few pulling in behind her. It'd have been an interesting one to put the clock on it in the early stages. Aurora Butterfly has run a cracker there. I think she might have finished 5th. That was a massive run for her, stepping up markedly in trip, having been placed in a 7 furlong listed race up in Carlisle last time. And Naughty or Nice, really disappointing, was beaten a long way out. And amongst the others, you know, Rain Goddess again, she didn't help herself at all, and she raced very free early on. Another one that could have maybe done it with a bit more pace. I'd say she won't mind going back to 10 furlongs at all, but you know, this is all about the winner. She's in a different league to these other fillies, and I just really look forward to her taking on the colts, taking on the older horses, because she'll be well able for it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. 5-2 on favourite, she's been returned, and if you did bet the odds, let's face it, you hardly had a moment's worry. Got into a lovely position behind the pace setting Bengala, struck on, and the race was quickly put to bed. And well, Enzo, the only question left here at the Curragh is whether we're going to see a Dettori flying dismount or not on his return.
Maybe not after that injury suffered not so long ago at Yarmouth, Gary, but great to see Enable win again. She is all class, and she is undoubtedly now the outstanding filly of her generation. As Kevin was saying, she could be a very interesting proposition against the colts on that evidence, especially with a few question marks over the 3-year-old colts over the middle distances this season. But Enable is certainly out of the top draw. 5-2 on in the end she was, but never a moment's doubt if you got stuck in at short prices, and she has won easily. Second, Rain Goddess at 7-1. Good run by Azura, and third at 20-1. Coronet was only 4th in the end, missing out on the places. John Gosden's other runner, but he's won it with Enable, his #1 string. Daughter of Nathaniel. So impressive at Epsom in the Oaks, having won at Chester before that, and then gone on to Double Oaks victory. Very, very impressive performance again today. She was always in the right place, wasn't she? Frankie just sat second behind the leader, took it up fairly early on in the straight and quickly put the race to bed. And she is undoubtedly a very, very good horse. We've seen some very good fillies in recent years win this Oaks double. And Enable adds her name to that list of brilliant fillies of the past. And Frankie Dettori, of course, missed much of the season with that injury, that looked a rather innocuous fall in the pre-parade ring at Yarmouth that afternoon when he injured himself, and he has treated us to a flying dismount as well, which is brilliant to see. Frankie Dettori still right up there with the best, and she joins the likes of Snow Fairy and Sariska doing the Double Oaks. Ouija Board did, of course, in 2004. The likes of Ram Rumour back in 1999 was a Double Oaks winner. And a superb performance from this filly. And there's Lord Grimthorpe to discuss things, get the debrief from Frankie. John Gosden always rated this filly very highly indeed. Where next now? That's going to be the question for Enable. Does she stick to beating her own sex, or does she try and mix it with the boys? We'll try and find out a little bit later on. But Frankie Dettori's delighted. Great to be back in the saddle, and certainly with this filly in this race, it was a great run to come back for. Almost a penalty kick in a classic. You don't get too many of those. Tremendous, tremendous performance. More reaction to this after the break. Welcome back to Race Day Live here on At the Races on a classic afternoon. We have seen that man, Frankie Dettori, light up the Curragh with a flying dismount. Brilliant scenes there as Enable has won. The daughter of Nathaniel completes the Oaks double for John Gosden, and winning owner Khalid Abdullah. So impressive at Epsom. She's done it again here at the Curragh in fine style. The odds-on favourite delivering for Dettori, the former champion. It's another Irish Oaks for him. And a superb performance from this filly. She did travel well in the race as she normally does, and she's got a smart turn of foot. She's a very, very willing partner for Frankie as well. Whenever he asks her to go, she seems to find plenty. Frankie won this on Blue Bunting back in 2011. Let's go back now to the track and rejoin our team there with some more winning interviews.
Frankie Dettori's won his fourth Darley Irish Oaks. He joins me now, and Frankie, relatively straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's improved since Epsom, and she travelled real good. I was always in second gear, and John said, look, if you're happy to be in front Schmadel, so I give it a backhander, and she flew. And I was able to actually don't give my shoulder too much strain the last 100 yards, and ease her way to the line, and she felt great. She felt really good.
And you were always in total control. She was always in her comfort zone, and you always had loads of animal underneath you.
I mean, she's amazing. She's got a good cruising speed for a stayer, and she can quicken, and she gets the distance really well. So, you know, all the things you want, you know.
She's an unbelievable attitude and temper.
Yeah, she's lovely. Imran rides her every morning. I jogged him off on Saturday. He wasn't too pleased, but she doesn't do much at home. It's very hard to gauge her, but we know she's good. As long as she travels and her well-being, and she does performances like that, we don't have to worry too much.
And coming into the race, were you a little bit worried that there was no obvious pace in the race?
I was happy to go on if there was no pace, but Declan was going nice and even splits, and I was able to get a lead, but you know, she's very uncomplicated, and if one day we have to make the run, so be it, but I don't think that's going to be a worry.
Four-time winning the Irish Oaks. It's been a lucky race for you.
Yes, very lucky, and you know, I've had a bad spell, but I'm back, and nice to have my first winner back in the Classic.
And obviously the shoulder injury, you were quite lucky that it wasn't a lot. Was.
I mean, luckily, when I broke it, it's in a place where it was going to heal very quickly, but if I was going to be operated, it would have been out for the season. So, you know, thanks to all the people that helped me, my physios and family that stayed behind me, and all the swear words, and I was saying this the last month when all my horses were winning, but you know, it's nice to be back.
And obviously when you have a filly like this to come back for, it just gives you that encouragement.
I mean, I probably come back a week too quick, but the dangling carrot was so big, then I had to come back.
It was all worth it. Many congratulations.
Thank you, my friend.
And a great reception he got as well, Frankie Dettori, on Enable, who has really just made the second half of the season, Kevin, all that bit more exciting with what she's done there today, because so impressive already, but it just really does open up endless possibilities for her going forward.
Yeah, look, she's a fabulous filly, and I suppose the thing was today, you know, she did what she did in the Oaks. You know, she was deeply impressive, but lingering, and John Gosden himself even mentioned it, lingering in the back of her mind, you wonder, you know, it was a strange sort of a race. Not many got involved. It was run in horrendous conditions, and you know, while she ticked every box on the clock, there would be a lingering doubt that maybe that wasn't quite what it seemed. But today she's gone and confirmed it, and maybe even gone even better than she did at Epsom. I thought she was fantastic here. Where do you go next? That's the interesting question. Could she drop the 10 furlongs? Probably not what you'd do. Yorkshire Oaks perhaps, but I'd be getting most excited about seeing her now against the older colts, the 3-year-old colts, and John Gosden might be able to reveal all right now.
Let's see if he can. He's with Kevin.
Joined by delighted John Gosden, who wins his second Darley Irish Oaks. And John, she's a very special filly, this Enable.
Yeah, she did it very well. I thought John Ox's filly made a nice, sensible gallop, and Frankie was able to get a lead into the straight, and then I think he just thought I'd better get on with it. And you know, she's quickens and she stays well, obviously. So we couldn't be more pleased with it. She's probably come on a little from Epsom.
And she's got everything you want, hasn't she? She stays, she's got speed, and she's a beautiful temperament.
She's got tactical speed, great temperament, and she's always been a lovely filly to be around from the day she walked in the stable. So it's good to have Frankie back after his annoying injury for him, missing Royal Ascot, but I thought the flying dismount was in good order.
And John, what's the plans for her? She's obviously in the King George. Is that an option?
That's an option. I know she's got a little bit of a cut. I see someone's caught the side of her on her near hind, so we'll just have to see how that is. She is in the King George, of course, and she's in the Yorkshire Oaks, and she's in the Arc de Triomphe. So we'll see. There are plenty of options with her, but as usual, the horse will always tell you.
And a word about Curragh.
Yeah, she was funny enough. She wasn't happy. She got changing her legs on the track. It does have a few little rises and ridges, and she preferred Ascot, Olivier said, and she was having to niggle her early. She's better filly than that, definitely better, but we'll live to fight another day. She's won a Ribblesdale, so that's good.
We can't let you go without asking you a quick word about Cracksman. How is he at the finishing runner-up here?
Top form. He wants to run the race again, he says. He ran great. He came a bit wide, obviously. He had to come very wide, but he's in top form. I think we'll go to the Voltigeur, and quite frankly, might then just say that's it for the year. I feel, as I said all along, he's a work in progress. He's still an immature horse, but he could make a stunning 4-year-old. So great Voltigeur, and maybe that'll be it.
Many thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we get a quick word with trainer Dermot Weldon. Dermot, you must be absolutely delighted with how Azira's run.
She's run a super race in what was an excellent renewal of the race. I think it was 2 seconds faster than standard. But I was thrilled with the filly. She's very consistent, got a lovely ride from Pat. And yeah, that was a proper horse race.
And it was only her second run of the season. Obviously, she was a Group 3 winner last season. It opens up plenty more options for her for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and it's lovely. She's a good group winner as a 2-year-old over 7. But the way she got a 1.5 miles, we might even look further with her. Yeah, great run.
What kind of races would you have in mind at this early stage?
You know, we look all the way to later in the year. With her, she's at the Park Hill is a possibility. She's in lots of nice races, if you know what I mean, coming up. She's the Prix-Royal Chantilly later in the year. You know what I mean? She's a filly that's just developing, coming at the right time.
Lots to look forward to. She's run a blinder. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.